Good evening and welcome to my first night session of deep sky stuff. As you can see, I have Sharp Cap fired up. I am on M27. I just got focus in Nina. And have switched back to Sharp Cap because I haven't got Sharp Cap's focuser working just yet. So for those that didn't see the stream live and are going to watch it in the past live stream section, what I will do is this. I'm going to try it first without any flat or dark. We can already see that I have a few hot pixels, but not too many. And what's going to happen is I will go into live stack mode. I'm at 6-second exposures, maximum gain. This is a huge image. I could probably knock it down a little bit, because we don't need to see the other stuff. Wow, that is weird. Guess it doesn't like this, which is okay. There we go. So what I will do is I'll go into live stack and we'll just start stacking this thing. So I am doing, I'm aligning the frames. I have the brightness filter on, which we'll just let it go for now, see what happens. And you can see that the histogram is already starting to tighten up. Now I do have some banding. I haven't chased those down yet. I've got a cable that's probably in the wrong spot, but that's okay. This is just a test. So let's do this, and let's do this. Now, because of the smoke, you can see that I do have some extra red in the background, and that's normal for me. I have red sky glow, so I'm not quite sure why that is, but we'll just keep going here. Now that looks better. So now what we'll do is we'll just let this thing build up. And what we'll see is that as the stack gets bigger, it will start to clear out the noise. I doubt it will do anything with the banding, but that's okay. Not worried about it. It's more a test to show you what deep sky Loki imaging is. So we've got 90 seconds worth of data already. Now, one of the nice things about Sharp Cap is that it gives you all kinds of statistics about the stack. So here's the status. It tells you how many frames it's looked at, it gives you the total exposure, the maximum pixel value, the bit depth, which this is a 14-bit camera, and you can see that we're coming in low because of the max gain. I probably should have looked at it in the beginning. But what's going to happen is that as this stack builds out, the bit depth will go up. So if I do like 500 frames, which shouldn't take too long, this could be over the 14 bits of the camera. This is the histogram, which, if people aren't familiar with the bid slider, this is like heaven, having a mid slider. Now I do have a lot of, the moon is out tonight. So I'm going to get, this side will probably get washed out a little bit from the moon. And if I had a flat and a dark, I could apply those here, which I do have those. I just didn't want to do it right off the bat. I have scope control and focus control. And one of the nice things about Deep Sky Lucky Imaging is that if your mount is off a little bit, which my guiding is probably going to be pretty good today. Let me just up this. Yeah, this is a CGXL, and this is pretty good guiding for me because I've got the big dew shield on that thing, and the wind catches it, and just the slightest, uh-oh, what's going on? I shouldn't have said anything. It just moved funny. That was probably wind. Oh, it was a dither. I'm sorry. I forgot. Sharp cap dithers if you're guiding. And it will tell you that it's not used the last 3 frames. Now, one of the things that I don't like about the live stacking features, it should just stop the stack. And then, which it does, but it should stop the capturing, which it doesn't do. And then when the dither is done, but I think I know why they're doing it that way, because if you're doing much longer exposures, you know, if you've got, although if you're doing a dither and you get a 1, 2, or 3 minute exposure, that frame's gone. Because my exposures are so short, I'm building up more frames lost, which you can see I'm at 5 right now. And that's mainly from the dithers. And I'm dithering, let's get over there. Alignment, I'm just doing the stock alignment with sharp cap. I'm doing a sigma clipping for the rejection. Now, the initial frame count is the first 5 frames. If a satellite flies through in these first 5, you got that satellite in your stack. And it'll slowly average out, but the streak will still be there. Enhancements I do not use. And you can already see that a lot of the noise is disappearing, and we've only got 48 frames in the stack. And it's really starting to smooth out here. We're starting to see some nice granulations in the red portions. For guiding, I'm just using the stock settings for guiding. and I have the automatically dithered check, and it's dithering every 300 seconds, which is 5 minutes. The FWHM is, as you can see, my skies really are bad today because of the smoke. In fact, earlier today I was in the red, which is like just under the purple, which is really bad. I normally wouldn't go out when the weather or when the skies are this bad, but hey, what are you going to do? Now, the brightness filter is going to continue to go up while we're doing this stack, and that is mainly because the moon is getting higher, and as it gets higher, the sky is going to brighten. I have a drift graph, which I don't really pay too much attention to because I'm guiding and dithering. But if it was really off a lot, then I would worry about it, but I'm not gonna. So you can see we're already up to 13.9 on the bit depth, and when we started this, I think it was 12.5, maybe. I don't remember what it was when it first started because I didn't look. But we already have some beautiful detail in here, and this is 6 minutes of data. I love this. I love this stuff. Now, one of the advantages of doing deep sky lucky imaging would be for people that have a Dob and it doesn't track very well, and they want to get out of eyepiece astronomy and start doing some imaging. Well, you can do that with SharpCap, or with SharpCap and the deep sky lucky imaging technique, because the exposures are short enough that you don't need to really worry about guiding with a Dob. You just would have to recenter maybe every 10 minutes or so, just recenter the target and start clicking off frames again. And then you don't need to use SharpCap for that. You can use whatever program PixInsight can stack, Serial can stack, Deep Sky Stacker can stack. There's a lot of stacking programs out there in the real world. And as you can see, the histogram has really tightened up. Now if I go into log view, all these little jaggies are stars. So we're starting to get the lobes on this target. Not bad. I could save the raw frames, which I didn't want to do for this this one. I'll just save the last frame. Let's see what happens here. So we're up to 8 minutes. This is looking pretty good for 8 minutes. Now, one of the things, because I don't have SharpCap's focuser working yet, autofocus, I think I have to do like a test. Just let it run through the test. It takes quite a while to do the test. And once you have the test SharpCap has enough information about your focuser, you can then do autofocus in SharpCap. Now you can see right here that this red streak is starting to make an appearance. It really is amazing. This scope is, I bought this scope, it's a C14, and I bought it in the 70s. And back in the 70s, you didn't even have computer control. It was a clock. So the base was the clock, an electric clock, basically. And it had a little pivot arm on the, it was a fork-mounted scope, and, or I'm sorry, it was a fork mount, and I had a wedge because you couldn't really track with it unless you had the wedge, and that's because there was only like 10 or 12 degrees of motion in deck, and you had a little hand controller that had 4 buttons, and you'd use that with an off-axis guider and an eyepiece, and that's how you tracked back then. Not like today, where you have computer control, you've got software like Nina that can slew and center, figure out what your camera rotation is. I mean, there's just, today's technology is so much nicer. And this C14 is pulling in this kind of image. It's a 50-euro scope. The camera is new. I just find this stuff amazing, what we can do from my driveway. So I can pull up so I'm in the basement where it's nice, no bugs, and there's the Raza right here, and then the C14 is back behind it, and I can keep an eye on I'll get an alarm if somebody's walking through. This big light dome back here, that's the city of Buffalo. Right here. That's my north. West is over here, east is over here, and south is this way, towards the camera. So the Raza, I can show you what the Raza is on. Oh, I got trees coming through. I'm just going to let this go and see what happens. Probably will start yelling at me. But that's a tree. In fact, I can show you what tree it is. Right there. It will clear it and do, you know, short enough time. Just keep an eyeball on this, see if it actually goes past it. I might have to stop and start it again. I think that's what I'll do. So let me stop the sequence, stop it. And it will keep tracking. And then I'll come back to this. And let's take a peek at this. So it just did another dither. So it's done 4 dithers because it's been cranking off like 3 frames per dither. That's 11, almost 12 minutes of data, 118 frames. parts. I gotta go back. Hang on a second, please. Big tree. It'll clear it momentarily. Now, the changes that you make on the slider really don't affect the saved files. This is basically the preview, what you're looking at here. Until you actually save the preview image, any change that you make wouldn't be hitting the individual frames if you were saving them out. Right now I'm not saving any of the raw files. So no matter what I do here, it's not going to affect the stack until I'm done. And I say I like this, and then you can save that. One. Oh, interesting. Very interesting. So what I will do every now and then is I'll overstretch it just to see if any of this stuff is starting to sneak in. Now, I don't think we'll get all of that today, mainly because the moon is pretty big. But still, for 14 minutes worth of a stack, it's not bad. Not bad at all. And the one thing that they say, if you can see these 3 stars as individual stars, you're doing okay. So even with my crummy skies, I'm still resolving these 3 stars, which isn't bad. In fact, we're seeing some color in the stars in here. Huh. Sweet. Now remember, this is with no flat and no dark. Well, this is dithering. Let's go take a look at the Raza. Not yet. Once it gets past this branch, I think I'm golden. Oh, about a 15-second delay. That's pretty good for YouTube. See how most of the noise is gone? So I probably didn't finish my explanation, but the premise of deep sky lucky imaging is that you use a camera that at max gain has very low read noise. It doesn't matter what the bit depth is at that gain, because you're getting the signal isn't being swamped by noise. So you can get a lot of faint detail with a lot of frames. And that's what this camera does. This camera has very low read noise at max gain. And this is a full frame sensor. I mean, I'm at f11. So, as you can see, there are an awful lot of stars in here for f11 in 6-second exposures. And that's one of the advantages of having this particular camera is it's got a class 1 sensor in it. And just the camera on its own, without even going max gain, is very low noise. And what I really like about deep sky lucky imaging is that it's allowing my f11 scope to do this on a smoky night, which I'll take that any day of the week. So we're up to 18 minutes of total integration time. You can see that we're starting to get some of the stuff out here, right out here and out here. And if I were to just let this go, which I do not want to do, because I want to try and hit a couple targets tonight. Maybe, maybe not. We'll see. But all that faint detail that is the hardest to get, even on a night like tonight with a moon and smoke, and the particular position that this is in, is in my south. It's high in the sky in the south. So today, let me just move this out of the way, because the moon is going to be very close to this. It's probably behind this tree here. So if I turn that off, yeah, there it is. Moon is just coming up. So what we will do is we'll let this go for about 20 minutes. Or I'm sorry, 30 minutes. You can see right here there's some red. I really like this technique. I'm pretty sure that because I have to monitor the audio, and I have it very faint. I don't have a headset, so there may be a feedback loop of some sort. I'm not hearing it, but I'll know more when I watch it tomorrow. So I've got 20 minutes, and we're starting to get some of this detail really starting to fill in with 200 frames, 6-second frames. I love this. What a hobby. So for my frickin' driveway, I'm doing this. Life is good. Might have to stop this. How many did I have? I had 30. Shoot. What I can do for you is, let's load SharpCap. One of the nice things that SharpCap can do is it can do a live stack of data from a folder. So if we take this and you go down to Folder Monitor Camera and select that, then you go and find where your lights are. M32. And that's the folder that I want. And then I want to select all the images in the folder. So what would happen is if more and more images hit that folder, it will get stacked. So I will go and start the live stack. You can see that I've got my histogram. I will, do this, and I will do that. And I will start stacking. And there's my and again, I don't have a flat going at the moment. And you can see that as the stack continues to build, that it gets tighter. Don't mind my vignette from my Raza. This is also a full frame sensor, and I do not have so it's going to do the 30 frames. It ignored one, probably was a problem with it, but just with this with 28 minutes worth of data. I mean, we got arms. Bring the green down. It's amazing the technology that we have available to us. My flat would have taken care of all that. So that's how you can live stack in SharpCap using data from another program. So we'll stop it. I do not want to save it, so I'm just going to say goodbye. And I think I'm going to have to find another, yep. So let's see what's available. We could go to the bubble, maybe. Where's the bubble? Go to the framing assistant, and if you hit this little button here, that's going to pull in the coordinates because I've got them locked. There's the bubble. I'll slew and center. I really love Nina. It just keeps getting better and better. And then it works very well with my cameras. I just love it. So there's the bubble right there. It generally takes 2 tries to hit the target, which is better than I could do. Just trying to move it around. Okay, so we've got some prime time coming in for the bubble. So I am going to now determine what the camera rotation is, and I'm just going to click on this. And you can see that the field of view tilted, and I am good with the way it is, so I'm going to add this to a legacy. And I want to do an autofocus every 20 minutes. Maybe 15. And you want to start the guider. I am going to go for 90 frames, 60 seconds. I'm going to dither every 6 frames, every 6 minutes. And we're off. So what I will do is, where's it going first? I think I might have to, yeah, I gotta stop this. Stop, Jeff. Because it's doing, it's doing M32 first. I want to turn this one off. And now, start. Let's see what happens now. So I like Stellarium mainly because I have my obstructions in Stellarium. So all I have to do, I'm not connected to a mount in Stellarium. I'm just using Stellarium for my target selection. ASTAP failed. Why? Is that in a tree too? That's why. I'll be damned. Excuse my French. Let's stop this. Let's go here. Yep, I'm in a tree. How about them apples? Oh, that's not nice. Where is up here? I think there she be. Let's try this particular region. Go to the framing assistant. I'm going to pull in those coordinates. There's the crescent. I might do a little recenter. Something like that maybe. Do a slew and center. That's the meridian, so it's probably doing a flip. Yeah, it's doing a flip. There's the crescent right there. So when this is done, we will determine where that's the moon. Shoot. I'm not sure I want to be this close. Oh, or is that Sadar? Huh. I think that's... Once I get this going, we'll go back to the other guy. I'm going to add this to my target list. I want slow and center. I want to start guiding on start, and every 15 minutes. I want to go for 90 frames. Now, the reason I go for 90, I normally like at least an hour's worth of data, but I have so many frickin' satellites and airplanes that I have to take it out an extra 30 minutes to at least guarantee I get 60 minutes of data. There she be, the crescent right there. I just want to make sure that this gets off and running. This old CGX of mine is, the other day it was like 0.27 total errors. So amazing. In fact, the last run it was 0.25. Or 0.4, I'm sorry. Am I in the trees again? Yeah, jeez. What the heck? So, it was a good year with all the carbon in the air. The trees grew like there's no tomorrow. So let me go to here and we will delete this guy. Yes. We'll stop this. Now we'll go back. I'm just going to run out and take a look at the scope real quick and figure out why it's looking in the trees. I wonder if I got a cable snag. I will be right back. So this has got 30 minutes of data now. Not bad for 30 minutes. Okay, I'll be right back. picking targets right next to trees. So I'm going to stop this. I will leave this. So that's what a single frame of that looks like in Deep Sky Lucky Imaging mode. And it's amazing that that went to, in 30 minutes, went to what you just saw. So let's go to another target. Oh, I wanted to show this. This is like the coolest feature that SharpCap has. So I want to center this a little better. So first let me turn off the guiding. And you can see that I was at 0.87, which is pretty good for as high as it is. I mean, the arm is sticking straight out. And there goes one of the sats I was telling you about. So what I want to do is I want to center this. So the first thing you have to do is double click and it will plate solve. So it takes an image, then it plate solves it, and it brings up a chart. So now what I want to do is move this to where I want to center it. And I just double click. And it says it's going to move the mount to the new position. Oops, let's stop the mount. I think it was meridian flip time. There she comes. See how close we are. It's not too bad, actually. So I'm going to move this back up here. Well, let's start over because I don't want the flip to interfere with the tool. So we're going to move this. I guess it's got a plate solve. I'm happy with the location and I'm going to double click. And with my mount it goes quite a ways off and then it comes back. Oops. Let's do a solve and resync. Try this again. Okay, so now let's see. double click. Why did it do that? I think what happened was oh, there it goes. There it goes. Just needed better coordinates. The flip kind of messed it up. So that is a way that you can easily center your target. See how well it did here. Turn this off. It's a little to the right, but I'm not going to complain. So what we want to do now is, let's go see if we can find, I hope this isn't in the trees. Now this is going to be very low for me, so I'm looking through an awful lot of atmosphere. Yeah, we won't have it for very long either. But there it is right there. Nice. So let's do going the wrong way. Shoot. Never fails. No, I guess not. There's a geo right there. So again, this is max gain 6-second exposures at f11. And we are seeing the eagle already. Gotta love technology. There's another geo. Now, if I stopped tracking, this would be the only thing that's sharp, and the rest of the stars would be trailing. Let's see if it works better this time. Yeah, it did. So we're going to go with that. I'm going to turn the guider on. And go back to Sharp Cap, and we'll turn this off. And then we're going to go into the live stack. We're going to clear this one and start stacking on this guy. Now, you just have to watch how this histogram tightens up. And we'll let it build up a little bit. So we got 30 seconds worth of data. I did not do a autofocus, so let's do that first so you guys can see what a good autofocus is. So I'll clear this. I will stop the camera. I will jump into Nina. I will start the camera. I do not have to cool the camera. I just have to go, and because I already have the focuser powered up, I can go into my autofocuser and do a run. Now it's been a while, 30 minutes since I did one, so we'll see how far it goes. Because it'll give me where the steps were and where it moved them to. Little backlash. Should straighten out though. Now I'm very surprised at how well Mr. Eagle is coming in. And again, there's no flat, no dark. This is just a straight up stack of what you see, or what the camera sees. Quit yelling at me. Is it in the trees? Already? Yep. Son of a gun. That's probably what this was. Now this 0.8, or it jumped up to 0.94, the hyperbolic r squared, you want to try to keep this as close as you can to 1. So this is where the steps were, and this is where it went to. So because of what we just experienced, I want to see if there's anything coming. Now this is what it's using to focus. Everything that's inside of this area. It's not looking at this or the extreme outer edge. It's just looking at these stars to do the focus. So I think I might be good here. Let's try focusing again. Sorry if this is repetitive, but I'm driving the boat. This one should be much better. Can tell already. So the next one will be down in here somewhere. Yeah, this is looking better already. There's another tree coming through. Might have to go to another target, a little higher up. It's tough when you live near trees that have been growing for the better part of 60 years. They get pretty tall. And this is a much better curve. Next one start going uphill now. Yep. Now this is a Celestron focus motor on a Celestron C14, and I bet you there's a big black thing coming in, yeah. Which is why that one looks off. I think we're going to have to go someplace else. And you really want to strive to try and get 3 times your low number. So right now I'm at like 3.5, let's just say. So 3.5 times 3 is like 13. You can see I'm under, but the Celestron focus motor and the Schmidt focuser doesn't like it. So let's go back and we'll just take a quick peek. Those stars look beautiful. So does Mr. Eagle. So I'm going to go back, stop the camera, go into Sharp Cap and start the camera. And then we'll start to stack. Make sure that my 1506 seconds. So let's reset. Let's reset. Let's do a color adjust. Let's bring this down a little. And we'll let Mr. Eagle cook a little bit here. So this is 42 seconds worth of data, or 7 frames, 7 6-second frames. And look at the detail in the Eagle already. That's pretty good. So the moon is this way, which is why it's a bad gradient. But we could, once I get a few more frames in the stack, I don't know if I'll be able to get it all. Now I just have it's an L Pro, Optilong L Pro in the thing, so there's not a lot of protection from something like the moon. Let's see what the bit depth is already. Yeah, it starts, I believe, when the stack first starts, it's in the 10s, which, if I remember what the chart was, this is a 14-bit camera, and 10 would make sense, somewhere around 10, maybe a little higher. Brightness is too low. Let's take a peek at the I think a tree's running through. Yep. Okay, let's see. This is probably the tree it's talking about. So if we go to the FW, you can see that it's rejecting those frames where the tree is running through. So let's go someplace else. I will stop this. Pause, clear. And let's go to wild duck cluster. Bernard's Galaxy. I need something a little higher. I don't think we'd be able to get that. As you can tell, I'm pretty random here. Okay, what am I looking for? Where is the cocoon? Wizard, let's go to the cocoon and look at Mr. Goat. Now that shouldn't be in a tree. I just, it's striking. Should be there, so it's doing a flip. Although it is heading towards the meridian. We'll see what we can get. Mr. Goat. Once you see it, you'll never not see it. Okay, let's go and see what we can see here. Alrighty. There it is. So let's get out of here. Let's go to here. See what happens. I saw it. Where did it go? I think that's it right there. think it's there. Okay. So, let's do this. Let's turn the guider on. Oops. And let's go into live stack mode. Clear this out. Yep, it's right in the center. So let's right there he is. So these are, again, 6-second max gain exposures, and we're seeing the cocoon. So we'll let this build up a little bit. And we'll come back. And you can see how bright the city of Buffalo is. You throw in a moon on top of that, and we definitely have some issues with light pollution. What are we doing here? It should be clear. I will say it is nice that it's getting darker earlier, but I don't look forward to what is coming. So now it's taking an exposure after doing the move. We'll see where we're at. Not too bad. What do I have? Crescent nebula. So it is out of the tree. I wonder if M31 is, let's just see. No, that's too close. Okay. Let's, we'll get rid of that guy. We'll get rid of this guy. We'll go back. We'll add this guy. I'm going to do an slow guiding off focus every 15 minutes. Oops. 90, 60. Want it dither every 6 frames. Every 6 minutes. Okay. See what happens. There's the crescent. No trees. That's a good thing. So I'm going to clear the guider, which I did. Okay, so it's guiding. Now it's going to autofocus. You can see 0.29 isn't bad for this mount. This is the number here you want to try and keep at 1. I think I have mine set for 0.85. Let's go autofocus. Yeah, 0.85. So anything below 0.85, it will use the last known good autofocus. I checked, I think it was, I had the wall and the pelican. Was that it? No, the bubble. There was 45,000 stars in the image, according to Cyril. Oh my God. That's a lot of planets. They say everywhere we look, they find at least one planet around any star they look at, and our little star has 8 and friends, so that's a lot of chances in my book. So this is looking pretty good for an autofocus. The hyperbolic R squared is still at 1. And it usually takes 2 to 3 minutes. I think it will say maybe not in this version. That's excellent, man. That's a great curve. And you can see that I'm 2 to 4 with this scope. If I go any higher with the steps, it just does not work. So that took 3 minutes and 9 seconds. And to get a focus like this, I couldn't do that. I mean, there's a faint fuzzy right there. There's no way I could do this. At all. So we'll just let this go. Look at that, shadows from the moon going through the tree. Unreal. Okay, there's the cocoon is starting to come in. Now it is pretty close. The moon is probably going to blow them out a little bit. Yeah, I think the moon's going to blow them out. So let's go someplace else. We'll pause this, clear. I don't want that one. What can we go see? And I think um, the moon is too close to just blow those things out. Is the sun, or not the sun, but the moon out yet? Oh, there it is. That's Jupiter. I'll never get that until it clears the tree out here. There's the moon right there. There's Saturn. Should we go take a peek? Let's go take a peek. So for this, what I will do is knock the gain down to 160. Where are you, Mr. Saturn? That sure don't look like Mr. Saturn. Plate salt filled. Figures. Oh, there it is. Let's, geez. There's Mr. What's his name? You can see some of the planets. Or I'm sorry, moons. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 right there. Maybe. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Now let's drop. Look at that. There's a moon, there's a moon, there's a moon, there's a moon. Sweet. Alright, so the focus is a little bit off. And we need to change this to solar. And start dropping the exposure. Now this particular camera is not going to be well suited for this, mainly because we're at 15. Let me write this down. 15, all 34. Oops, wrong way, Jeff. Too far. Let's get those moons a little brighter. This is a Mellencam DS24 C-Tech. So it's a cooled camera. It's not really made for doing planetary stuff. Let's see if I can get... get this image size down. Okay. That helped get the frame rate up. I'm at a whopping 6 frames a second. Okay, so now let's take... There's the 39 and I was at 34. Let's go out. Let's see if that sharpens it up. No, think so. Now my atmosphere is a little on the smoky side today, so normally I would say don't even try. But sometimes, you know, like thin clouds and a thin layer of smoke might help. You just don't know. See, the real thick stuff just left me. Wind's going this way, so I'm almost out of it, but not quite. And it's actually quite low, so I'm looking through a lot of atmosphere. I mean, that's ground level here, so it's it's not very high up. Like last year, it was quite a bit higher than it is this year. So I'm surprised we're getting as well as we are. Uh, 39. Let's make it, oops, 2. I mean, it almost looks like you can see some banding in there, but I think the atmosphere is just a little too rolly. And it would help if I was hitting the right button. There, now you can see a band right there. I think I see a split. I think that's about the best I'm going to get it, boys and girls. Think there's enough resolution looking through all that mud. I mean, every now and then there's moments of seeing, but when you're only doing 3 frames a second. So let's go find another target. Preferably a brighter one. that's how big it is. This is a C14 and F11, and this is a full frame sensor, so that's how big she is just on her own. Okay, let's see, what time is it? It's 12 o'clock. I have to check, make sure the crescent is crescenting. I have 15 frames, so I'll do this. So it looks pretty good. This is also a full frame sensor on a Raza, so flats usually take care of this. Not too worried about it. So the Raza's here, and the C14 is back there. Okay. Let's go to M27 or 57. That one should be good. This will be a good target for deep sky lucky imaging. There she is, doing a flip. I really get hammered by the trees in my area and the light pollution. Okay, let's go back. Let's make the gain max. Let's go to 6.0. Excuse me. Okay, so we've flipped around a few times, so what I'm going to do is I will center on this. Get a solve. And then you move this to where you want it, which is going to be right there. And you double click again. And that's close enough for hand grenades and horseshoes. So I'm going to stop the camera, jump into Nina, start the camera, and do an autofocus. Oops. Now, because I had focused on Saturn, or attempted to focus on Saturn, my It'd be interesting to see what this curve looks like, because I was probably too far in, and if this software is smart enough, it should realize that and go past it and then come back. But we will see. And the curve is looking a little ratty because it didn't realize where I was. So let me go back. I got lost. So if I stop this, it will go back, and I will type in the right number. It's going to 1522. So what I will do is type in 15034, which is why you write that stuff down before you make any big changes, and it will move the focus. And we will start a new one. Much nicer. And the reason I'm focusing is we've done a few flips going to different targets here. So this curve should look better. Yes, it does. And sometimes when you don't get the curve looking the way you want it, that could be because of backlash. Now I'm leaning more towards my sky, where we're looking is very close to the moon, so I may not have enough exposure, but I think I do. Let's see what it says. Once it does one good one, then it never has trouble after that. Now my C14, I put a carbon fiber. I replaced the aluminum tube with a carbon fiber tube, and that has helped that scope out tremendously. I can go quite a ways before I need to focus again. Where with that aluminum tube, it was like every 10 minutes it needed to be focused because it was growing. What's going on here? So that is looking pretty good. So let's leave that. We'll stop the camera. Go back into sharp cap. Start the camera. Yeah, that looks better. So let's go into live stacking. And we'll let it sort itself out here. And start tweaking it. You could see that the histogram really starts to tighten up, which is what you want. And if we go and look, it's at 10, the bit depth is at 10. Close program. Okay. It's the first time Nina's crashed. Of course, I'm on the beta build, so. And it will slowly go up. Now this is a 14-bit camera, and the reason why the bit depth is so low is that I'm at max gain and high contrast gain. So I think it starts out at right around 10, maybe 10.1, 10.2, and you can see it's already up to it's already up to 11.5, and there's only 11 frames in this stack. So as more and more frames hit, this will continue to rise to where it will actually give you more dynamic range than what the camera has. And that's another reason why I like Deep Sky Lucky imaging. Although you do get basically the same benefits. Now what will happen here is that as this stack continues to build, all this detail through here will start to fill in. Now I don't have a dark, so we got some hot pixels, which I don't care about, mainly because of the max gain. They get averaged out with the dithers. But we got 2 minutes and 6 seconds of data, and you can already start to see the stained glass feel to this center. And we're starting to pick up some of the little red spikies right there and right there. And you can see that there's like a star there, a star there, a star there, and the more and more stars there, the more and more frames that build up into the stack, the more stars hit this field of view. And again, I have to stress that this is at f11 and we're at 6 seconds. So we have 3 minutes and 18 seconds. And this will slowly get cleaner. You can already see that a lot of the stars that I had pointed out earlier are starting to get brighter. All these, they like pop in. It's the coolest thing. And it hasn't done a dither yet. We're already at 13.2 for the bit depth. And you can start to see that we're seeing some of this finer detail starting to appear in through here. Now, to really see the benefits from deep sky lucky imaging, I need a little bit different camera than what I'm using. Mainly smaller pixels would help. These are 5.76, I believe. So something in the 2s, 2.8, 2.9 would essentially double the resolution of what I've got here. And that is going to help. Whoops, didn't want to do that. Didn't want to do that either. Huh. It'd be interesting to see if this thing improves, because I do have some pretty lousy atmosphere, and the moon is much brighter now. Once it gets past this tree, look out, because it's right there. Don't need that anymore. You can really see that this is starting to fill in. This little notch. There's one here. We got 60 frames in the stack, 6 minutes. trying to even out the background here. That's not bad. And you can see how many more stars there are already. And we're starting to get that stained glass feel for this area and through here. And look at all the detail that's popping in. I don't know where, do they have a zoom? Yeah, it's only a 40%. Let's do 100. So that's 100%. And that's 7 minutes of data, 7.5. See that my brightness is going up and down, and that's the smoke, a lot of it. And I have, because of the smoke, my FWHM is much higher than would normally be. Jump and go see what my so we got 30 frames in, so I got another hour. .29 is my total. 0.28. It's not bad. There it is, one star. It's just starting to pop in right there. It's still not a bad view for given the circumstances today. of stars popping in here. Those photons are few and far between, and they just accumulate with the larger stacks. You can see how the noise is starting to go away. And again, this is no flat and no dark. And that's the full image right there. Got 11 minutes of data. All this detail is starting to fill in. I think when we get about 300 in here, let's see, that's 300 times 6 divided by 60 is 30 minutes. I'll be right back. Alrighty, I'm back. Really can see the inner portion of the ring is really starting to take shape. And that's 156 frames in the stack and 15 minutes of data. Not bad. We're at 41, 20 more minutes. See all these stars right in through here that are just starting to pop in. The field of view just gets fuller and fuller of stars. So for, I don't know if you can call this a live view, but it's a live stacked view. Looks pretty good. This star's finally starting to take shape right there. These have really started to sharpen up, I should say. Now I think there's one more. But I don't know if we're going to be able to get it today. See, that's 155% zoom. And it still holds up. Let's go to 100. That's 100. It's looking good. Let's see if we can darken it up just a tickle more. one. You can see that the C14 has a little harder time staying tight, and I think that's because I'm not very well balanced. So it's overshooting because of the balance band off. And you can tell just watching the red X here. And that to me tells me it's kind of overshooting. But that's okay. And you can see how much the noise is cleared out. And one of the things I like about dithering while you're stacking is you don't get walking noise. Walking noise is a huge problem with in the EAA world, especially if you have rotation, field rotation. The walking noise is brutal. We've got 200 frames in. And this will continually get better. It's those very faint photons that we're trying to catch in this 6 seconds. And instead of doing it in minutes, 3 to 5 minutes, we're doing it in 6-second bursts. And the photons that would be hitting the sensor in 3 to 5 minutes are going to hit it eventually in one of those 6-second exposures. And you wind up with tighter stars. And because you're kind of beating the seeing a little bit. Now, again, I go back to really be doing deep sky lucky imaging, the shorter the better, almost like planetary. But my mounts guide so well that I can get away with going just a little bit longer, and I don't feel like processing thousands of frames for deep sky lucky imaging. That just isn't me. I've seen some wonderful images on Astrobin, but I mean, to take 5,000 images of one target that's a lot of work. Poor computers huffing and puffing. So I'm not saving any of these images. I'm saving none. And I can save when I'm done with the stack, I can save the image that you see, and I can post-process that. It saves it as a linear fit file. Or I'm sorry, it saves it as a linear fit file. That's what I'm trying to say. So I think I'm going to stop the broadcast. I don't want the file to get too big. I want to thank those that showed up. The one like, thank you. And we'll see you in the next one. Appreciate it. Clear skies.